Hi everyone, so this is a great video to do post-run or even pre-run as a way to really open up your IT bands and your outer hips. It's something that I've been really using as I've been taking on my training for the New York City Marathon. It's something that's been really beneficial to me, so I want to share it with all of you. So to first, we'll start into downward dog. So just bend your toes under, lift your hips up and back, and come right into your pose. And just take about 3 rounds of breath here. Feel free to move around a little bit. It can feel really good to bend the knees, to lift your hips up and back a little bit more and lengthen your spine. It also might feel good just to pulse the heels back and forth a little bit to get into your calf. So just start to move around a little bit. And just keep trying to allow the hips to extend up and back, just like a nice inverted V shape. Then take an inhale, lift your heels up to the sky, lift them up. And then exhale, press them back down. We'll do that 2 more times again. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, press down. And just 1 more time with that. Inhale, lift up. And then exhale, press them down. Nice and slow, come right into your plank pose. So shift your shoulders forward. You might need to walk your feet back a little bit. My shoulders are right over your wrists. My palms are flat. My fingers are spreading wide. I'm pulling my chest forward, but my heels are pressing back. I'm engaging my quadriceps at the same time my tailbone's heavy. So feel these opposite actions working together here. Now start to walk your left foot into the center of your mat. Keep engaging your left quadricep and lift your right leg up to the sky. So we're coming into a 3-legged plank. Take your right knee to your right elbow. So a little bit of core work here also to open up the hip. Bring the right leg right back. Bring the right knee in towards your chest. Bring that right leg back. Bring your right knee to your left elbow so you're going to twist across. And then you're going to extend your right leg behind your left wrist. So try to get that right leg all the way up there. It's okay if it's down here, that's totally fine. And then flex your toes a lot. Now to start, pull your chest down, flex your toes. Keep pulling your chest forward, draw your shoulders in. And already you'll start to feel a nice stretch right into your outer hips. And to add a little bit more core work here, drop your left heel down to the ground. Press down to the back edge of your foot, and then reach your left arm up to the sky. So you're going to come right into your fallen triangle. Your right toes are still flexed, you're still engaging the outer part of the leg. And then let that arm reach overhead, so you're taking a nice thigh body stretch. Then left hand comes right back down to the ground. Turn your chest back down to the floor, pick your back heel up. Bring your right knee in towards your chest. And then step it forward to a low lunge. Drop your left knee down to the floor. Inhale, send your arms up to the sky. Let your hips drop forward. Look up, reach up, let your palms touch. And then exhale, let your hands come down and come into a half split. Take your right edge of your foot, place it right over to the right, and then walk your hands over in the direction of where your toes are facing, so over to the right side of your mat. Keep flexing your toes. Again, feel it stretch to the outer leg of the other hip. If this feels too much, you can bend your right knee. And you can also place blocks underneath your hands and then drop your head down. And just take 1 more round of breath, breathe in, and then breathe it out through your mouth. So always make sure that you're using your breath to bring some ease as you come into these pretty deep and intense poses. Then back into your front right knee, come right into runner's lunge. Place your hands right onto your hips, pull your right hip back and your left hip forward, and you're going to start to turn on your hips and your glutes here. So a lot of balance, a lot of core work. And then reach your arms right alongside your ears. Nice and slow. You're going to come right into your warrior 3. Keep dropping your left hip down. So imagine you're balancing something right on your sacrum, and then charge up your back leg. Hands can come to your hips, your heart, or you can reach your arms up. Hold here for 3. For 2. And then for 1, bring your left knee right in towards your chest. And then come into a standing figure 4. So bend your right knee, drop your hips down. Bring your hands to your heart. And then let your hands come all the way down to the floor. So you're going to feel a nice stretch right to the left outer hip. And then let your head drop down. You can hook your left foot around your tricep like a little hand here to provide a little bit of support. If your hands are really far away, feel free to grab blocks with your hands. And you want to bend your right knee as much as you can and drop your hips down. And then let your head drop. And take 1 more round of breath, breathe it in. And then breathe it out through your mouth. Cross your left ankle on top of your right. And then walk your hands right over to the left side. So you want to walk your hands over to the foot that it's behind. So this is the back foot, so you walk your hands over to the left. Bend your knees. Feel free to place your hands on those blocks again. And then walk your hands back to center. Uncross your ankles, set that left foot all the way to the back of your mat. So you're going to reach your runner's lunge. And then place your hands down and just step right back to your downward dog. If you want to take a connecting vinyasa, you can always move forward to plank, chaturanga, upward dog. And we'll take it right to the other side. So in your inhale, come forward to your plank, shift your shoulders forward. Again, feet move back just a touch. Take your left leg, lift it up. Bring your left knee to your left tricep. Bring that foot back. Bring your left knee in towards your chest. Bring it back. And then left knee to your right tricep. You're going to twist. And then extend your left leg. Now get set up here. So you're flexing left toes, your left leg's up there. You're pulling your chest forward. You're already feeling that nice stretch and feeling that sensation to the outer leg. Then let's add some core. Drop your right heel down. Reach your right arm up. And then reach your right arm alongside your ear. And then keep pressing down the back edge of your foot. Look at your left hand. The tendency is to drop the shoulder back, bring it forward over the wrist. You're protecting the shoulder joint. And then bring your right hand down to the ground. Bring your left knee into your chest. Set that foot to the top of your mat or right into your low lunge. Keep the toes tucked under, reach your arms right up to the sky. The hips drop forward. Breathe. Look up, reach up, palms touch, inhale. And then exhale, half split. Put your left hip back, right hip pulls forward, drop your head down. And then come right into your right T-band, stretch to the other side. This variation. So you flop your foot right onto this edge of its foot. Walk your hands over to the left side, flex your toes, and then drop your head down. As you come into the pose a little bit deeper, as you breathe a little bit deeper, you might be able to bring your hands down to the floor a little bit more. And last round of breath, breathe in, and then breathe it out. And then walk your hands right back to center. Bend your left knee, lift your right leg up. You might need to scoot your foot in a little bit. You want to make sure that your heel's right over the ball of the foot. And then place your hands right to your hips. So pull your left hip back, bring your right hip forward. You're hovering, so you should feel this right in your butt and your glutes. Reach your arms, both of your arms out in front of you. And then nice and slow, lift your back right leg up. Again, notice the right hip's going to want to jack up. Pull it right down. So you're squeezing your outer hips in, and you're pulling and lengthening your heart forward. Boop. And then reach your arms right out in front of you. Bring your right knee right in towards your chest, and then come into your standing figure four. Bend your left knee. Drop your hips down. And then nice and slow, the hands come down to the ground. Again, feel free to use this foot like a hand, so boop, wrap it right around, and then drop your head down. And then shake your head out. Bend that left knee. Feel free to use blocks with your hands, come onto your fingertips. Make sure you feel supported here. This is a great stretch for the hips. And then cross your right ankle right over your left. Walk your hands over to the right side. Feel free to bend your knees. Again, hands on the blocks. And then walk your hands back to center. Uncross your ankles, set that right foot all the way back, runner's lunge again. And then feel free to step back to plank to connect your vinyasa, chaturanga, upward dog, or just press it back to downward dog. Now we're going to slow it down. That way our body's nice and warm, our hips are nice and warm. We're going to take a little bit more deeper stretching. So feel free to hold these variation of poses just a little bit longer than we did before. And then on your inhale, you're going to lift your right leg up to the sky. Bend your knee and then rotate that hip open. Same thing, right knee to right elbow. Bring that leg back a little bit faster. Right knee in towards your chest. Bring it right back. And then right knee to left elbow, twist across again. This time, you're going to lower all the way out to your right outer hip. You're going to turn your chest to face towards the ground. Release the back foot to let it soften here. And then bring your forearms down to the ground. Now for some of us, this is a lot of sensation already. You might even need to bend your right knee. For others, you might need a little bit more. So you might need to bring your right leg up a little bit higher. You might also need to put this right foot on a pillow or a blanket a little bit. And what really helps is flexing those toes. You can grab a hold of the foot, that feels good. And then also different options to take the pose to their place. You can come into a twist. Now for me, this is a little bit too deep. I'll demonstrate kind of where it's supposed to go. So you can tuck your little sweater with your right hand, and then thread your left arm underneath the right, and bring your left shoulder down. For me, it's a little bit too of a deeper twist, so I'm not gonna take that variation, but again, it's an option if you want it. And then forearms come down. And I'd be here for at least 5 to even 10 rounds of breath, depending on how much time you have. Especially if it's post-run, you definitely wanna marinate in this pose a little bit longer, especially if your legs are a little bit tired, they'll be needing the extra stretch and the breath. And then again, after you've taken your breaths, what you'll do is you come up onto your hands, you'll tuck your back toes under, so you'll engage that back leg. You lift that leg up, and you're gonna come into your half pigeon. So you're gonna bring your right knee behind your right wrist, your right shin's gonna extend out, and you're gonna walk your left toes all the way to the back of your mat. And then once again, you'll let your arms come down, you'll relax that back foot. Now what I see in half pigeon a lot of times is people are kind of huddled for their dear life in their half pigeon. So what I'd recommend is really letting your elbows reach out a little bit so you can let your chest go. So you're not putting any stress and any tension in your shoulders. And then drop your chest down. Now for me, half pigeon's really comfortable. It's a pose that I really enjoy. For others, it's not so much so. So feel free to take a blanket or a pillow underneath your right hip. You can also place it underneath your chest, that feels nice. So take variations that feel good for your body. Again, everyone's a little bit different, so you might have to move it around and switch it up a little bit. Again, for me, I love this pose. I can be in this pose easy for anywhere from 2 to 5 minutes. For others, it's really intense, so feel free to use your breath to gauge how long you can be in this pose. Especially post-run, I'd recommend 2 minutes would be great. And then start to lift your chest up. Again, tuck the toes under, bring the right knee into your chest, and this time set the right foot to the outside of the hand. So now you're coming into lizard lunge. So you can stay right here. This might be really intense for some of you. Right knee's gonna come right over the ankle. Walk your left knee back a little bit so you wanna make sure you're in front of the kneecap. And then you can either come onto your forearms. You can stay right on your hands, of course, though, or come onto blocks. It might feel good to also come onto the razor edge of your right foot and let your right knee splay out. And if you just did a hill workout, your quads are really, really tight, you can also take this a little bit deeper by coming into a quad stretch. So you're gonna take your right hand, grab hold of the left foot. What's great about this variation is you're opening up the outer hip, the glutes, you're also opening up your hip flexor and your quadriceps. So this is a great all-around hip stretch. And then release your hand from your foot. From here, you're gonna make it right to child's pose. So you're gonna bring your right foot back to meet your left, and then you're just gonna let your hips get a little bit wide and stretch your arms out. And then we'll take it right to the other side. Again, feel free to hold your child's pose a little bit longer. Bend your toes under, lift your hips up and back. And then take your left leg, lift it up, bend the knee, let that hip rotate open. Bring your left knee right to your left elbow. Bring the left leg up and back. Left knee right in towards your chest. Bring the left leg up and back. And then left knee to your right elbow. Again, shoot your left leg through. Walk your right toes back, and you're gonna lower right down onto your hip. Again, relax that back foot. And then turn your chest and ribs. We just felt nice to crack my back. Chest and ribs towards the floor and drop your chest back. Drop your right chest down. Flex your left toes. Again, feel free to bring that left leg up a little bit. Feel free to use that pillow or that blanket underneath your left foot. Keep flexing the toes. And again, if you want to take that little twist here, you can maneuver your right arm underneath your left and let your right shoulder come down, your right side of your cheek come down. Again, it's too deep for me, so I'm just going to stay right in this variation. Again, remember to soften the shoulders, the face. You want to hold any tension here. And then nice and slow, start to lift yourself on up. Tuck the back toes under, lift the left hip up. Come into half pigeon, slide your left knee behind the right wrist. Walk your right toes back. And again, take your variation. So you can walk your hands down, you can stay lifted. You can take your blanket, your block place underneath your left glute, your left hip. You can take a blanket, pillow underneath your chest, block underneath your chest, your forehead. Again, I'd recommend getting your elbows out a little bit wide so you're not huddling in with all that tension, and then drop your chest down to the floor. And then nice and slow, start to make your way up. Again, feel free to hold it a little bit longer. And then lift the right knee up, set the left foot to the outside of that hand, drop your right knee down to the ground and you're right in your lizard. Your left knee's over your ankle, you're bending your left knee deeply, your hands and shoulders are to the inside. You can stay right here. Again, feel free to scooch that right knee back a little bit. And then you can come onto your forearms, to your blocks, drop on down. You can let that left knee drop out to the side. And again, you can take another variation with your quad stretch if it feels available to you. And then nice and slow, release your hand from your foot. Come into that child's pose once again. Bring your feet together, let your knees get wide, stretch your arms out. And then from here, we're just going to end our practice in our child's pose. So just start to take 5 more rounds of breath. Taking your time here. If you just went running, maybe just appreciating all the work that you just did on the roads, or just appreciating what you did with your practice, what your physical body was able to do. And then just take 1 more round of breath, breathe in, and then breathe out. And then come up to sit, bring your hands right to your heart. Bow your head in gratitude, thanking again your body for everything it's able to do. Also thanking your energy and your mind. And then namaste.